Aamir Khan, thank you very much for joining me.
It's a pleasure.
So you are a Bollywood megastar, and you've turned yourself into a very prominent social activist. What are you doing here in the United States? Activism or filming?
Well, I'm filming a very major Bollywood action film down in Chicago. So we've been there for a couple of months and another 1 month or so to go of filming.
And how does it feel to sort of swap between, you know, what is fantasy and celluloid and the very hard and real and gritty topics that you do on your program?
Well, I have to say that this program has been a hugely enriching experience and something that's really transformed my life in so many ways. But in a sense, I'm an entertainer, and I hopefully make people laugh and cry.
Well, cry probably in the program, because your program, you take on some very, very serious issues. Everything from female feticide to child abuse, child marriage, dowries, health, and all sorts of things, untouchables.
Well, I mean, I just feel that for years I'd been thinking about trying to use my whatever goodwill I've earned over the years to try and see if I can use that in a way that I can give back to society. And I also feel that so many of us back home in India want to do so much, you know, for our society and country, but often we don't have the right knowledge and information about what's happening. And we believe, my team and I, we believe that with information and knowledge you empower a person, and hopefully that changes his actions as well.
A lot of, as I said, the programs and the subjects that you tackle are taboo. People don't talk about them much.
They hesitate to, yes.
Why is that?
Well, you know, it's for various, you know, human reasons, I would say. You know, untouchability is one such issue that...
Which is the rigid caste system.
Is the caste system in India, which often people find very difficult to speak about. It's a very touchy topic. Child sexual abuse is a very sensitive topic. People want to, you know, kind of just pretend it doesn't exist or it's not happening. And whereas the figures show us, numbers show us that it's about almost 1 in every 2nd child goes through some sort of an abuse back home in India.
Which is
very
really
large.
Terrible.
It's terrible.
You're
yes.
a population of some billion people.
1.2 billion. That's
exactly.
Right. That's right.
And you often, or usually, do not pre-announce. There's no pre-publicity for the topics you're going to.
We don't.
You're going to do. Is that because you don't want people to turn off, or what?
You know, these are very dark topics and very difficult topics. If I tell them beforehand that my topic is female feticide, a lot of people may not want to watch such a heavy topic. Or if it's child sexual abuse, they might decide, oh, yeah, I know what happens, but I'm not really keen on watching this on a Sunday morning. So I think that the topic itself may drive people away. But we believe that once a person sits to watch down, he still has a choice. I mean, he has a remote in his hand, he can change the channel, he can shut the TV off.
Well, I'm going to play you a clip of, you mentioned female feticide, and in fact we have a clip where you're interviewing a woman who's telling her story about when she first found out that she was pregnant. Let's look at
और सोनोग्राफी सब करवाई, फिर इंजेक्शन दे दिया, और जैसे इंजेक्शन दे दिया मुझे कुछ पता ही नहीं चला. जब मैं होश में आई तब मेरी बेटी भी नहीं थी, मतलब मेरी प्रेगनेंसी भी नहीं थी.
बच्चा गिरा दिया गया और आपको इसके बारे में पता भी नहीं था?
कुछ भी नहीं पता.
ऐसा कितनी बार हुआ आपके साथ?
8 साल में 6 बार.
I mean, your reaction, in fact your reaction now, and the reaction of that woman in the audience speaks volumes.
Yeah. These are all very difficult topics, and I found that, you know, I mean, through this journey I met with some people who've been through very difficult times, and when I sit so close across them and they share with me what has happened with them, it's extremely difficult for me to absorb that or deal with that. I'm not someone, you know, as a journalist you are exposed to a lot of things, and you've seen life in a very raw manner, and you over time get to know how to deal with it. I'm somebody who's not had that kind of an exposure, and I find that when, you know, I come across a lot of very difficult stories, it affects me very badly, like it would anyone.
Well, indeed, and this is a very difficult story. I mean, studies show that up to 12 million girls have been aborted in the past 30 years in your country. So two questions. Do people watch? What are the numbers like for your programs? And does it make a difference? Are the politicians listening?
Well, what I'm really happy is I think the political class in the country has responded really well to the show. And I think that I genuinely believe that India at this point of time, the sense that I get is that India is changing and wants to change. And the success of this show really is an indicator of that. Because we've had about, it's difficult to calculate how many people in India have seen the show, but there are various numbers floating around like 500 million and
that's
and
huge.
Above. That's
Half
huge.
a billion people.
That's right. So,
so the politicians better listen then. I mean, you met with the top elected leader in Rajasthan about this particular show and about this problem of female feticide.
And I have to say that, all credit to him and the Chief Justice of the state for taking such swift action on the issue. And I think that, the political class in India has in fact responded very fast and very strongly to various of the topics that we discussed.
What other topics have you tackled that you feel that you've got at least a bite, at least some notice and awareness from the politicians?
I would have to say that almost all topics have had a very, very strong response. I think healthcare, for one, has had a very strong response. I think untouchability has had a very, very deep and strong response on not only, when I say people, politicians are people as well. They are affected by everything like you and I.
Have there been critics who say, oh, Aamir should just stick to acting?
There have been some.
What do they say?
Well, you see, the fact is that when we talk about issues like this, there are people who are affected by what we are saying. So, for example, there are various lobbies which don't like.
Because you're a threat to the system. If you've got 500 million constituents, it's a threat, right?
It is. So, I mean, we had imagined that there would be people who would not be happy, people who are part of the problem would not want things to change. And so we were well aware that there would be some sort of an opposition to us. And that is there, but it's not something that I am or my team is affected by. We just...
so you're going to soldier on?
We're going to soldier on, and also I feel that, I think somewhere I'm a very idealistic kind of a person. I believe that even people who are part of the problem can become part of the solution. I believe that.
Aamir Khan, thank you very much indeed.
Thank you so much.
Thanks for joining me.
It's a pleasure.